So, continuing in our discussion, or my discussion, or my exploration of Charlemagne the God's book, Get Honest or Die Lying, is once I got to chapter 4, if I hadn't realized it already, I certainly did at this point, that sometimes honesty, the truth, can be painful. And so sometimes in really exploring those raw truths, you end up exploring things that are not so comfortable. And Charlemagne does not shy away from getting right into some nitty gritty. When in chapter 4, he starts discussing his relationship with his father and a lot of the pain and difficulties that some of that caused him, some of those very real, raw human moments, and got me to thinking about my relationship with my parents and my relationship with my father. You know, when you're exploring these raw truths, it can be like a therapy session where, you really start to explore these inner, deeper things. And of course, you start to explore all of the complexes and all of those different things that the personality disorders. Oh, you're a narcissist, or, you're toxic, or all these things that are just such buzzwords that are floating around right now. It's great that we're noticing these things, and it's great that we're exploring these concepts, but it's also can be kind of dangerous. Not unlike putting an assault weapon in somebody's hands without giving them basic rifle training to really learn how to be responsible with the weapon. One of those very popular complexes that people seem to love to throw around is the idea of an Oedipus complex. So, oh, you're a mama's boy. And then, of course, guys will throw back at women, oh, you have daddy issues and all of this bullshit. But reading about Charlemagne the God's relationship with his father and the various problems that came there with it got me to reflecting about my relationship with my parents, and in particular, my father. And of course, it also got me to thinking about Star Wars. Because really, the original trilogy was very much, I think, kind of a mythological exploration of maybe the concept of the sins of the father being paid for by the son. So perhaps there's room in the psychological community, as they're naming all of these different complexes, and Oedipus complex and Jocasta complex, mama's boy, father's boy, blah, 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 blah. The Skywalker complex, maybe Anakin syndrome, Darth Vader syndrome. But we do have a very particularly problematic relationship with our parents. A long time ago, in a state far, far away, I was born. Long time ago, 1977. Yes, the same year Star Wars came out. In a state far, far away, I now live in Florida. I was born in Connecticut. I was born and named after my father, Ralph William Cudworth. I'm Ralph William Cudworth Jr. Like I said, we moved down here to Florida, just uprooted. I think my dad just kind of went into a panic mode where he just started playing life by ear. And things weren't panning out. And things broke down. And he left. Didn't give me much, just gave me a name. After some time, there was just this chance point where I saw him out in a public place, and like Luke Skywalker going to confront Darth Vader, I went and confronted my father. The fuck's the matter with you? You just walked out. You haven't done shit. Where's your chief responsibility, man? He didn't say anything. He just stood there. Couldn't even make eye contact through his sunglasses. I saw that there was nothing happening with my talking to him, so we just both went our separate ways. And years went by, didn't see each other, whatever. Later on down the line, he reaches out. That didn't go anywhere. We all got together. Oh, he's going to make right, but I don't think he really had any plans on making anything right. It was performative, really, I think. Or maybe there was intent to do something, but he just, again, didn't know how. A few more years go by, I reach out via email, and he just kind of wanted to have his piece. And almost made me out to be the villain here, you know? Like, oh, well, what do you want from me? There's nothing I can do now. What's done is done. This bullshit Zen type of an answer, like, well, what's in the past is the past, and we just have to accept it and move on. And I suppose that there's an honesty about that, but at the same time, you created this life. You broke it. You bought it. I think part of my problem with his, oh, Zen, well, what's done is done, we just must move on now thing is that, okay, well, does he want me to be the Luke Skywalker to redeem him now? Is that what he's asking for? He's going to come in, make this life, not really do anything to set it up for success, fuck it up at every fucking turn, and then just be like, oh, well, now it's on you to be the hero. I didn't give him his redemption. Then some time goes by and he dies. Sorry for your loss. It really wasn't a loss. It was a loss from the get-go. Your father dies and there's just kind of like the proverbial trunk of garbage that just gets left behind. And so amongst that trunk of garbage, I inherited a laptop. And out of, I don't know, morbid curiosity, my search for the truth, what have you, I went through the laptop and found different things that he'd written and found just how depressed of a man he always had been, how depressed of a child he was. Those writings, poems and things like that, where he talked about this affection for Eeyore, because as a child in children's literature, Eeyore was the character he always identified with. Eeyore, the depressed donkey. And I suppose, why wouldn't he be depressed? Child of the 50s who was born at a time that polio was still more of a threat than it is now, and he was stricken with polio and lost a leg from it. I suppose he got teased in school. Was an outcast, felt alone, unnoticed. Thanks for noticing me. And that was his childhood comfort, was finding that this character in Eeyore that he could identify with, that he loved. So a little bit of sympathy for the devil, I guess, there. You know. I don't think it redeems him, though. If you're broken, you have no business making more children. They're going to be just broken. They're going to inherit your weights, your issues. Maybe he thought having a child, naming him after himself, would somehow make him better, make him stronger. He'd rise to the occasion. He didn't. I found more of his writings in the laptop. Another one of his literary heroes was Captain Nemo. He spoke in a way of Captain Nemo that really romanticized this character as a hero of sorts, where I feel like, wasn't Captain Nemo the villain of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? I mean, but he romanticized this character as somebody who was just striking it out on their own, who was freer than free because he was out alone, just doing it without the burdens of society and the government and all of the evils of big government or what have you. Problem there being, let's be honest, Captain Nemo didn't do it on his own. He had a whole crew that may or may not have been slaves, really, that manned the Nautilus at his command. But he wasn't doing it on his own. He had and needed a team. So I think that kind of gets to the fact that people who see themselves as isolationists and find comfort in their solitude might be going down a dangerous path. Because when you go out on it on your own, you're a lone wolf. And the irony of the fact that my father named me after him, and the name Ralph means wolf council. Wolf council. Not just one, not lone wolf, but the group of us. A lone wolf is a dead wolf. A lone wolf can't hunt. It was in your name, man. You don't get to be an isolationist when your name very much identifies with the truth that you need the rest of your pack with you. But I suppose if you feel like you are an outcast from the group because of your polio or what have you, that you're Eeyore by themselves, that you end up having to grow up to be Captain Nemo by yourself, at that point maybe you really shouldn't have gotten married and had children. But what do? Caught in the storm, swirling around, much like at the end of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, going into the whirlpool, and down you go. And where do you end up? And we don't know. But, if you really want that solitude freedom, going forth and striking it out and having a family isn't exactly a move towards freedom. And just, my name, my background, and all of that, it just got me to kind of trying to explore this thing. Why am I even here? Why am I even here? Was I created to try to heal poor Eeyore? I'm supposed to redeem him? Like Luke Skywalker? My life is not my own? I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, outside of just ranting on a video. So here I am. But by all means, go ahead, throw me some comments. Let's discuss